Welcome back to another Champion Deep Dive, and today we're talking about Super-Skrull. He's got Fury, Armor Up, Unblockable Attacks, Incinerate damage with his Nova Fist, and more. Wait, are those new buffs? Let's get into it. Super-Skrull enters the contest, and he has immunity to both Shock and Incinerate effects. Now with his passive, when he triggers a Fury buff, it also grants him block penetration, giving him another avenue to deal damage, while Armor Up buffs also grant critical resistance, adding some tanky qualities when receiving damage. Also, Super-Skrull brings in a new debuff type in Hypnotic Gaze, in which after a cooldown of 25 seconds, he inflicts a Falter debuff on the opponent. This Falter debuff lasts for 1 second, causing all attacks to miss and begins paused. However, it's unpaused when Super-Skrull is struck, blocks an attack, or an opponent misses. When this Falter expires, there's a 100% chance that it's replaced with an energy vulnerability debuff, reducing a large amount of energy resistance for 5 seconds. But more on this later. Now, Super-Skrull also has Cosmic Energy Receptors. This is a buff where every 1 second, he reaches full charge, with his next action creating a buff, and resetting the charge. This cannot be affected by ability accuracy reduction. So, landing a hit converts it to a Fury buff, increasing attack. You can also do this by striking into the opponent's block. However, blocking an attack, or being struck, converts it to an Armor Up buff instead, increasing your armor. Keep in mind that a limit of a combination of only 5 of these buffs can be maintained at a time. So in other words, it doesn't just have to be one or the other. You can use both. And when Super-Skrull reaches his Cosmic Energy Receptor buff limit, he gains a Cosmic Energy Overload buff for 15 seconds, and can't build any more Cosmic Energy until it ends, or if it fails to trigger. When this happens, all Cosmic Energy Receptor buffs are removed. Now, Super-Skrull gains additional buffs based on how many Armor Up or Fury buffs are active when he enters Overload. For example, 4 or more Armor Up buffs gain a Vigilance buff for 15 seconds, allowing you to bypass miss. However, 8 or more Armor Up buffs gain an Unblockable buff for 15 seconds. Keep in mind, these aren't mutually exclusive. So, gaining 8 or more Armor Up buffs gives you both the Vigilance buff and the Unblockable buff. On the other side, 4 or more Fury buffs gain an Undermine debuff for 15 seconds, granting Unblockable to any hit if the opponent auto-blocks. Where 8 or more Fury buffs gain a Nova Fist buff for 15 seconds, granting a 100% chance to incinerate on all attacks dealing energy damage over 1.5 seconds, removing perfect block chance, and reduces block proficiency by 50%. This is your damage center. However, if you want to hit 8 of either of these buffs, you're going to need your special attacks. Let's check those out. With the special 1, on activation, convert up to 5 Fury buffs into Armor Up buffs, increasing armor for 25 seconds. The second hit of this attack cannot miss or be auto-blocked. For the special 2, on activation, convert up to 5 Armor Up buffs into Fury buffs, increasing attack for 25 seconds. Each hit has a 100% chance to cause an Incinerate on hit, doing energy damage over 15 seconds. Keep in mind, once you've converted your buffs from either the special 1 or the special 2, they no longer count towards your buff limit, but are instead placed on a timer. If the Energy Overload buff is expired, you can start building your Receptor buffs again, thus stacking past your limit. The Special 3. Super-Skrull gains an indefinite non-stacking aptitude, increasing the potency of future Armor Up, Fury, and Precision buffs by 60%, and 100% chance to stun for 3 seconds, which is a great way to build up your power meter with back-to-back combos. But if your Cosmic Receptor is up, you can easily stack up your buffs uninterrupted. Now, let's check out the signature ability. Super-Skrull has self-sustaining power. in where he gains a power gain buff granting up to 3.55% a bar of power per second while in Cosmic Energy Overload. This is a great way to build up your power meter without having to land so many attacks. Speaking of which, let's check out this Super-Skrull's champion rotation. For a damage focus, you're going to want to get to your Nova Fist. So to do this, build up 5 Fury buffs, and halfway through your second power bar, launch your special 1 to convert them to armor ups. From here, keep an eye on the Cosmic Overload timer, as that will tell you when you can start building buffs again. Once you're in range, build up Fury buffs with your attacks. If you don't want to build up too much power, use block strings instead. Now, once you have Special 2 ready to go, be sure not to pass 4 charges and launch your Special 2 as your 5th charge. This will put you into Cosmic Overload with 8 or more Furies, thus activating Nova Fist. Now, if you're looking for something a little more pro, you can time your initial Special 2 Nova Fist activation with the Energy Vulnerability debuff by lining up your Cosmic Gaze to falter the opponent and allowing them to miss, giving all those Incinerates a sweet damage bump. Speaking of damage bumps, in longer fights, you can pepper in a Special 3 to gain an Aptitude buff to increase the potency of the buffs in that loop by 60%. Now, let's check out some best uses. With Super-Skrull's access to the Undermine debuff, auto-block champions don't stand a chance. Going up against Faltering Mind or Tunnel Vision, and having Vigilance on your side, Super-Skrull won't be missing anyone. Gaining an unblockable buff just gives you openings in multiple situations, especially stun immune champions and nodes. Gotta Light and Pleasure to Burn are just a few examples of where Super-Skrull shines with his ability to incinerate and incinerate immunity. With his easy access to armor up and furies, buffed up is no problem. Now what about you? Are you theory crafting on where to use him best? Sound off in the comments below. Now let's check out some notable synergies. Hostile Takeover. With Iron Fist on the team, Super-Skrull gains a 100% chance to place an armor break on the opponent lasting 4 seconds each time you activate a Fury buff. You can stack this up to 5 times. Good luck gaining an armor up on this guy. Now with Iron Fist, the first 4 of his personal armor break debuffs start paused. Also, while the opponent is suffering from any armor break debuffs, the next buff triggered on them will be immediately nullified and an armor break debuff is consumed. Wedding Crasher. This is a solo synergy. With Dr. Doom on the team, Super-Skrull starts the fight with a Vigilance buff lasting 15 seconds. Wait, now the rest of these look really familiar. Not only does Super-Skrull have the Fantastic Four's abilities, he also has their synergies. However, true to a shape-shifting Skrull, the more the members of the Fantastic Four show up, the less effective he becomes on the team, as he'll just become redundant since these synergies don't stack with the originals. But it does give other Fantastic Four members more access to team synergies without having the entire Fantastic Four team present. As an outside mastery, using the Captain America Infinity War synergy to extend buffs by 25% increases the duration of all your buffs, namely Nova Fist buffs, armor ups, and furies. Alright, let's head over to the Masteries. Using the Despair Mastery works really well with the fact that he can stack on a lot of Incinerate debuffs. However, using that synergy with Iron Fist will allow him to keep on a pretty consistent amount of armor breaks at the same time, thus giving you a good avenue for healing mitigation. Using the Assassin Mastery, that'll tack on up to 60% additional attack rating, depending on the rank, when you push the opponent to 18% health or lower. Now, here's a little pro tip bonus. When starting a fight, that initial parry, don't attack right away. Attack right towards the end of the stun, in where you out-time Super-Skrull's Cosmic Energy Receptor timer. This way you can gain 3 charges in a single combo instead of 2. It also helps if you slow down the input of your combos. It takes a little bit of practice, but it's well worth doing. Thank you for watching this Champion Deep Dive for Super-Skrull. Are you ready? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And if you liked the video and you want to see more, go ahead and click subscribe, click like, and subscribe. And remember, stay dorky, and I'll catch y'all in the contest.